Helicopters search from the air while officers use bloodhounds on the ground. It's all part of a manhunt to track down 3 suspects accused of killing a veteran police officer in Illinois. We bring you the latest details tonight on News Channel 11 at 7. Good evening and thanks for choosing News Channel 11. I'm Kylie McGivern. The manhunt began outside Chicago nearly 7 hours ago. Police are determined to find 3 suspects who killed Lieutenant Charles Joseph Gliniewicz. The father of 4 was on the force for more than 3 decades. The lieutenant was pursuing what was described as suspicious people when he was shot. As Marissa Bailey reports, police are releasing few details about the suspects.
Police are searching an industrial area in northern Illinois after a police officer was fatally shot. Officials say the officer radioed that he was chasing 3 men who were acting suspiciously.
His backup officer arrived on the scene and located him injured with a gunshot wound.
Undersheriff Raymond Ross told the Chicago Tribune the officer's gun was gone. The shooting occurred in Fox Lake, Illinois, about 50 miles northwest of Chicago. Police and helicopters and on the ground are searching for the suspects.
There are 3 suspects at large at this time. Again, described 2 male whites, 1 male black. And I don't have a further description.
The slain officer is identified as 30-year police veteran Charles Joseph Gliniewicz. His colleagues called him G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe was the father of 4 boys, a decorated police officer and an asset to our community.
Bloodhounds have been brought in to search heavily wooded areas. The FBI is also involved. Nearby schools were placed under lockdown, and authorities are urging all residents to be cautious.
At this time, we're asking all area residents to remain inside, report any suspicious activity, any suspicious people by dialing 911, as we still have 3 offenders at large.
So far, there is no word on a motive for the shooting. Marissa Bailey for CBS News, Fox Lake, Illinois.
And new details have emerged, further revealing the unstable past of the man accused of killing a Texas sheriff's deputy. Authorities say Shannon Miles shot Deputy Darren Goforth 15 times last weekend. Today, Miles' defense attorney said that his client was committed to a psychiatric center for an unknown amount of time back in 2010. The news comes on the heels of an announcement yesterday that Miles spent 6 months in a mental hospital in 2012. He was supposed to stand trial on a felony assault charge, but was found mentally incompetent. After time he was in the hospital, he was found mentally competent, but the assault victim was long gone and prosecutors dropped the case. Miles' attorney said that he will have a psychological evaluation. Virginia leaders are pushing to prioritize mental health treatment in the Commonwealth and nationwide after 2 journalists were shot and killed on live television last week. Funeral services took place in Roanoke for cameraman Adam Ward today. Hundreds of mourners crowded into the church to honor the 27-year-old Hokies fan. 9 police officers on motorcycles and several more in squad cars stood watch as the hearse carried his casket toward a private burial. Among the dozens of onlookers, you could see signs. One that read, "We love WDBJ," another, "Love thy neighbor." Morning show reporter Allison Parker was also killed in the attack. Vicki Gardner, the local economic development official being interviewed at the time, was wounded, but she continues her recovery tonight. Employers of an Elizabethton business were allowed back to work after fire prompted an evacuation of Snap-on tools. It's an update to a breaking news story that we first brought you on News Channel 11 at 5. Backup crews were called to the building where tools are made on State Line Road after reports of an oil fire. Right around 5:30, crews cleared the scene and everyone was allowed back inside the business. No injuries were reported and the cause of the fire has yet to be determined. Meanwhile, firefighters battled another blaze in Elizabethton, this one at a home on the 1300 block of Hillside Drive. That call came in around 3:30 this afternoon. City Manager Jerome Kitchens told News Channel 11 the crews are dealing with heat exhaustion. A child rape investigation lands a Virginia couple in jail. The Sullivan County Sheriff's Office tells us that it stems from a more than 3-month-long investigation into a rape at an area park. We're told Eduardo Fernandez is charged with the rape of a young child, a young girl in a car at Warriors Path State Park. He and his wife helped cover up the crime that happened back in June. The Sheriff's Office says Deborah Fernandez knew about the incident, did not report it to police, and then tried to cover up the crime. She is charged with failure to report child sexual abuse and tampering with evidence. Both remain in the Sullivan County Jail tonight. An undercover detective in Boone, North Carolina helped capture a child predator there. Police say the JP thrower drove across the country to meet with a 14-year-old girl, only to be met by officers. Boone police charged the Oregon man with 3 felony charges, which include attempted first-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. The 28-year-old said that he was visiting family in Boone and asked to meet the girl at a hotel for sexual purposes. He remains in jail tonight on a $150,000 bond. A Bristol attorney will spend 4 months in prison and repay thousands of dollars for stealing from his employer. Tony Hutchinson pled guilty to 1 count of wire fraud. The bankruptcy attorney worked for a law firm out of its Bristol, Virginia, and then Kingsport office. Once he serves the 4 months, he will then serve an additional 2 years of supervised release. Hutchinson must also pay $160,000 in restitution. A court clerk in Kentucky has been ordered to face a federal judge Thursday for refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples. Keep in mind, the Supreme Court ruled in June that same-sex marriage is legal.
Under whose authority are you not issuing licenses?
Rowan County Court Clerk Kim Davis said that she will not go against her religious beliefs, knowing that she could face fines as well as jail time. Her latest refusal came 1 day after the Supreme Court declined to intervene. In a statement, she said, quote, "To issue a marriage license which conflicts with God's definition of marriage with my name affixed to the certificate would violate my conscience. It is not a light issue for me. It is a heaven or hell decision." The Iran nuclear deal is now 1 step closer to passing. Pennsylvania Democrat Bob Casey is the 32nd senator to support the deal. The announcement pushes President Obama within 2 votes of the 34 that are needed to sustain a veto of legislation aimed at blocking the deal. Earlier today, Senator Ben Cardin, a top Democrat on the Foreign Relations Committee, predicted that the president would get to 34 votes by the week's end. More opposition for raising the gas tax in Tennessee next year. The chairman of the State Senate Transportation Committee, Senator Jim Tracy, said there isn't enough time to put together a comprehensive road funding proposal for the upcoming legislative session. This news comes after Governor Bill Haslam's statewide tour to discuss what he calls a $6 billion funding shortfall for infrastructure projects here in Tennessee. Senator Tracy Goins prompted GOP lawyers like House Speaker Beth Harwell in voicing their opposition. A decades-old company is expanding and bringing 200 new jobs to our region. Fidelitone held a grand opening at their new site in Elizabethton today. The supply chain management company is combining its workforce in Gray and Johnson City. The new Elizabethton facility is just off of Highway 91 on Fidelitone Lane. We've posted job application information on our website, WJHL.com. An event next week will allow you to honor American heroes. That bell to be rung by everyone who completes the Tri-Cities 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb on September 10th. That will be held at Holston Valley Medical Center's parking garage. First responders and other participants will climb 110 flights of stairs, the equivalent of the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center, where 343 firefighters died in the terrorist attacks 14 years ago.
I climb because I want their memory to keep on, to carry the names and continue to remember the fallen of that day.
Registration for the event is $20, with proceeds going to the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation. To learn how to sign up, just visit WJHL.com.
We are still holding on to a few spotty light rain showers out there tonight. Otherwise, our hot weather continues into the weekend. Your forecast is coming up.
But first, a sure sign that college football is near. The East Tennessee State University signs are up and ready to go for kickoff at Kermit Tipton Stadium. The Bucs team kicks off Thursday against Kennesaw State. That's at 7:30. The News Channel 11 sports team is in your corner, getting you ready for the big game with a countdown to kickoff preview show. That's going to be tomorrow at 7:30 p.m.